Well, resuming our video series on crop development, we're going to switch gears to talk about soybeans. We're going to come up on R5 growth stage. Beans planted mid-May in Chatham, Kent are likely going to be in this R5 growth stage towards the end of the month. And so up to growth stage R3, soybeans can take a lot of abuse and still make a good crop. Soybeans make their yield in the last half of the growing season. And so nutrient uptake starts to ramp up considerably after R1. R3 to R4 marks the beginning and end of pod formation, and although flowering and pods can continue to develop on both the lower and upper nodes as we progress through the season, R5 is the beginning of the seed fill process. So defined as a seed 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters long at any one of the 4 uppermost nodes on the main stem. So that denotes the growth stage. There's some noteworthy changes that occur at this stage. R5, the soybean optimizes its root mass. It starts anticipating filling that seed, so it puts out a massive effort to expand its root system, laterals and mains. There's about a 10-day period right after this growth stage where about up to 90 pounds per acre per day of dry matter can be accumulated. So that's about equivalent to 15 bushels of added dry matter during that growth phase. So it's pretty important. It's impacted by potassium supply and related soil conditions, obviously. Maximum uptake occurs usually during the driest time of the year. Soybeans are 3 times less efficient per unit length of root as corn is in taking up potassium, so it's a bit of a challenge. Soil test K, soil moisture, compaction, root rot, all these things along with water content in the soil and timely rains are all going to influence nutrient uptake at this growth stage. From R5 to maturity, the soybean plant will need to pick up about 6.5 inches of water through a combination, of course, of rainfall and being able to access stored water throughout the soil profile. So if you're seeing these kind of deficiency symptoms on your soybean plants right now, this is potassium deficiency. It's not something you want to see, so you want to be double checking your soil sample levels as well as your application rates for fertilizer on the soybean crop. And consider that perhaps you need to revisit that, although this can be made much worse with dry weather, so it's not just the nutrients, but certainly dry weather and low nutrients will make the problem worse. So soybean root is expanding, as I said earlier. It's not unusual this time to see laterals out about 18 inches from the main stem and maybe down as much as 2 feet, provided it can get through the hard pans and compacted layers. And what happens here at this stage, as you can see, that 92% of the root mass is in the top 6 inches, with 82% of the root mass remaining in the top 3 inches of the topsoil. And this is why rainfall in August is so vitally important for finishing off a soybean crop. With those roots stranded up in that near surface soil, it needs those timely rains to keep filling those beans and get the crop to maturity. So soybeans have nearly the same total nutrient uptake as corn, so just because they yield less doesn't mean they take up less. There's a rather large requirement for both P and K. Both move by diffusion, only short distances into the root hairs. And so when we get adequate soil moisture, the water in soil exists as films around soil particles, so that film gets very thick. Soil particles connect together. The flow of nutrients off the surface of the clays can replenish the nutrients in the soil solution that have been taken up by the plant. So when you have high soil tests, you simply have more nutrients to replenish into the soil solution. So keeping our soil tests current, following recommendations is pretty key. Our 4R recommendation programs are designed to remove yield-limiting factors and avoid the over-applications. And we're going to help you obey MOM. Minimize environmental footprint, optimize harvested yield, and maximize nutrient utilization. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy. Till next time.